In today's video, we're going to teach you about what you lose when you actually win divorce. And I know we covered that previously as far as losing the divorce, but today we're going to specifically talk about 3 things you lose that you often don't think about until it's too late. But before we do that, I want to dive into another subject, which is the new 7-day course below. The 7-day course is a restart. It's a refresh. It helps you get out of that fog of divorce. You know, that place you feel stuck, lonely, alone, isolated, where your friends are no longer yours, where your love is no longer yours, where your fear of losing your kids. That's the place that this 7-day course will help you out of. If you're there, check it out. It's a low cost, no obligation, money back if you're not happy after completing the course. But it will teach you new tips, tools, and tactics, things that I learned that helped me restart when I was in divorce. So check it out below. But let's get back to the video and talk more about what you will lose in divorce specifically. And there's 3 things that we're going to hone in on today. But before we jump into that, I wanted to mention as well that during divorce, you're probably there. Competition gets rough. That's right. Competition is really hard in divorce. So what we gotta realize is that when things get hard and competition sets in, emotions run high. And when emotions run high, we stop thinking with that logical brain that men are often credited with having, and we move to a place of, well, response rather than action. So I'm gonna just remind you that divorce is an emotional response a lot of the time. But as a man, we can find peace and calm and tranquility inside ourselves. We can then respond with action, with intention, rather than just response. With those responses, you may find that there's things in you you've said before. I know I can certainly admit to saying things before that I do not wish that I had said. I do not wish that it came out of my mouth. And maybe you're there too, maybe you're not. In which case, I can't imagine you're watching this video. But if you are, hey, stick around to the end, it only gets better. So, if you are like me and you've said things before that you wish you didn't say, that's because we're acting in an emotional state. And so it's the same thought process and same mentality when we look at winning divorce. It's the same state. It's an emotional state. We're not looking at it logically. We're not looking at it as that this could be the mother of our children. This could be, at one time, the love of our life. And maybe, just maybe, they still are the love of your life. And if that's the case, isn't it best, I can say this. I personally can say, if you can try to love them out of a relationship, out of the relationship, if you can end the relationship at your best effort of giving love, man, you are going to heal much faster than you would if you're going to try to win the divorce. But I think you get the point here. So we're gonna dive into the 3 things. The 3 things that often aren't thought about when we try to win divorce, especially as men today. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the co-parenting relationships. See, when we have a win-loss mentality, that means one side must win and one side must lose. We aren't really thinking about the other people involved in the situation. And the other people involved in the situation of divorce are your children. So when your partner actually loses in divorce, you're actually punishing your kids, because you're gonna split most likely time with your kids and your wife, or your soon-to-be ex-wife, or current ex-wife, however you want to say it, or however the situation may fall at this current time. And so I want you to think about the impact that any win would have for your kids. And I would like to challenge you to think in the capacity of letting it be a win for your kids. Now, again, I've said this before, I do not support lying down and just giving everything away. And I'm not trying to say here you need to give everything because your kids are involved here. You need to survive, she needs to survive, and you should be trying to make all parties thrive if you can. And that can be a really hard thing to do when an income that used to be for one family unit turns into two. So it's a hard road to follow, but man, that's what divorce is. The sooner that we realize that we got a hard path to go down, the challenges that we are facing are seemingly impossible at times, the sooner that we can move forward accordingly, that we can accept our circumstances, we can mindfully make decisions and thoughtfully move forward, because that's what it's all about. So if you're trying to win your divorce, think about your co-parenting relationships. It's something that some of the men that I've worked with, a lot of the men I've worked with, did not think about till it's too late. And the relationship that you're impacting with your ex, right? Like trying to negatively impact or try to make her feel the pain that you're feeling with this divorce, it's only going to compound the relationship with your kids. And I do not know a father out there that wants to have a bad relationship with their kids, especially in the traumatic time that is divorce. So enough said there. Let's move on to point number 2, which is your personal well-being. See, and we kind of touched on that lightly in the beginning of this video. When you win at divorce, you actually lose personally, because what often happens in the men that I've spoken with and talked to and worked with is that they look back on that experience in divorce and they regret it. They regret not understanding that their kids' relationship was impacted negatively, and they didn't see that for some periods of time, 6 months to a year to several years, and they look back and they have conversation with their kids, and their kids are still resentful for how their mother was treated, or how the challenging conversations turned into misinterpretations, or how the negative relationship with your ex-wife led to her saying disparaging things about you. And now there will be some women out there, and no matter what you do, even if you gave them the world, at the end of divorce, they would still be saying negative things. But you can't control that. What you can control are your actions. So act accordingly, act like a man, go out with the love that you went in, and you'll heal faster and be in a better place. You're actually putting yourself in a position to meet the right kind of woman or the right kind of person you want in your life afterwards. The right kind of people, right? When you act with love going out of a challenging situation or in a challenging situation, man, the universe returns it, and it seems like it's 10 times full. So, number 2 was personal well-being. Number 3, moving forward, is going to be your future opportunities. And we kind of touched on this in the last one because it's so powerful and it's so true. When you go at a relationship in a win-loss mentality, you're going to lose future opportunities. People are not going to want to do business with you, right? Who's going to want to do business with somebody that's always like winning the negotiation? The best part of business is when both sides win, when both sides feel they win, especially. So when you go out with love, when you think about the co-parenting relationships, your future opportunities will naturally improve, naturally get better. And that is worth its weight in gold. So if you're looking at winning divorce, I challenge you to think about it another way. Challenge you to think about the love you had with your partner in the beginning. I challenge you to think about the relationship that you have with your kids and the co-parenting relationship that you are inevitably going to have for the rest of your life. I want you to think about the personal well-being, yours personally, and your recovery in this effort called divorce, because you're going to grieve this process whether you want to admit it or not. And lastly, I want you to think about your future opportunities. So, winning divorce really isn't winning. No one wins in divorce, but you can go out with a win-win mentality and you can end up recovering and in a better spot than you could ever personally imagine. I guarantee you that. So, focus on the long-term benefits here. Focus on your future. And if you're in a bad spot, check out the 7-day course below. It will help you reset, guide you forward, give you some new tools to get out of that funk, get out of that fog, get out of the negativity, think differently, and become the man that you always wanted to be. The man that you know is deep inside.